The things that I was doing to myself, like, if I continued it, I would have been dead. Like, I would have not be here doing what I'm doing. Hey you guys, welcome back to our channel. So basically you guys, I'm just gonna be doing my makeup. I'm gonna share with you guys some products that I use for skincare. I feel like skincare is literally the key in making your makeup look bomb as F. I feel like you guys could get to know me more, so I'm gonna just be talking to you guys about like how I grew up, my childhood, all that good stuff. Like, you're really gonna know every single thing about me after this video, and you're really gonna know about all the makeup that's involved. So let's get into the video. I already applied all my skincare. As you guys can see, I look really dewy. Skincare is a must, you guys. Like, if you you can do any kind of makeup as long as your skincare is bomb. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys the products that I use. I already applied them, like I just said, so I'm just going to be showing you it. So this is the Ole Henriksen Truth Juice Daily Cleanser. So you can use this every day. It has PHAs in it, which is going to help exfoliate your skin, but without that like rough texture, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So I always wash my face with that. I use it morning and night. And then after I wash my face, I apply a toner. So I have two toners right here. This one is my favorite, like all-time favorite. It literally cleared up my skin. It prevented any acne I had, anything like that. So you guys are always curious about like what I use for skincare, and I would say if you're gonna invest in any skincare, it should be this one. I will say that I did start getting texture on my skin when I started using this, but I continue to use it like you should with all skincare. It literally cleared up my skin and I love it so much. So the second toner that I have right here is the Glo Toner. It's the blue bottle, Ole Henriksen as well. Justus actually likes this one more. I'm not sure why, because I feel like the green one is like the one that makes your skin bomb because it really cleans out your pores. But this one is good for like dark spots and all that good stuff. I do use this one as well, but I use it at nighttime. You're supposed to use sunscreen if you're using AHAs, and this has AHAs in it. You guys, I'm very educated with skincare. I literally watch so many videos on skincare. So if you ever have any questions, just send them my way. DM me, I will get back to you. Matcha break. Oh my goodness. Oh wait, no, mind. After I use toner on my face, I go in with the serum. This is the Banana Bright Serum from Ole Henriksen. I use all of their products just because they've literally changed the game. They made my skin so bomb. If you guys want to have bomb skin, just invest in some good products. But it's the Banana Bright Vitamin C Primer. This is not sponsored, by the way. It's not sponsored. They send me the stuff, but this video is not sponsored. After I use toner, I use the C-Brush Brightening Cream by Ole Henriksen. Let's see if this works. I don't know. But this is a cream that I use. I love this one. It's a gel formula. This one, yeah, this one's a gel formula. They also have a double cream, which is like, it's a thicker consistency. So I use both of them. I just like go back and forth. After I apply my moisturizer, I use eye cream. This one came in like a little travel kit that they sent to me. This one's really small, but they do make a bigger size. This one I think is like $80. Are you kidding me? This is about $38, I think. But I got a travel kit with like a bunch of their little items, so I've been using this one. I did have it previously, but I didn't repurchase it just because it was kind of expensive. I was like, oh my gosh, I could just, you know, like, I'm gonna wait a little bit. Justus, by the way, he literally uses all of my skincare, like all of my skincare. So that's pretty much for my skincare. As far as like my lash extensions go, I use micellar water to clean my lashes with a lash brush. And then I just use a spoolie like this to comb them through. My lash tech, Miranda, I will put her link down below to her Instagram, but she basically says you have to wash your lashes in order for the retention to, in order for your lashes to stay on longer, you need to clean them more often, which you obviously would think that you don't have to. Also got my eyebrows not microbladed, what am I talking about? I got my eyebrows laminated, you guys. Was it yesterday, babe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my eyebrows laminated yesterday and I'm obsessed. So you know how I showed you guys that I do soap brows? It basically gives the same effect, it just lasts a lot longer. I'm gonna leave all their links down below so that way you guys can check them out. But as far as the skincare goes and my lashes and my eyebrows and all of that, we're gonna get into makeup, and I'm just gonna be doing my makeup and talking with you guys. By the way, my hair extensions are from insert name here on Instagram, and I love them. Like whenever I wear this hair, I feel like a bad, like I feel like I'm that, if you know what I mean.
It's a rat.
Did it break?
No, it's good. I need to move it.
You know it's bad luck if you break a mirror.
It didn't break.
Thank God. That means we have good luck. Justus over here like building shit. I'm kidding. Now we're gonna get into our makeup, and the face primer that I've been using, it's the travel size as well, is the Banana Bright face primer from Ole Henriksen. And I just feel like it makes your makeup look really glowy, which I love. Literally just like apply it everywhere. But let's get to talking. I'm gonna just link down all the products down below that I used, and if I have codes for them, I'll leave the codes down there too, you guys, because I just want this to be like a chit chat video. With the skincare, I really wanted to just explain to you guys like about it and what I use, because I get too many, I get so many questions about the skincare, so I really wanted to explain to you guys in this video about it. Let's start off with my childhood. All right, so I grew up, my parents had me, my mom had me at 17 years old, you guys, like pretty young. So I'm 24 now and I don't have a baby yet, so I guess I passed her up. But my mom is full German, if you guys didn't know. I'm sure you guys might have seen like me post her on my Instagram here and there. I'm gonna hold a mirror here just so I can see myself closer. But my mom is full German and my dad is full Panamanian. So I am mixed. I'm half German, half Panamanian. And they met when they were really young, like really, really young. She had me really young. And growing up was like, I feel like I have a hard time remembering how my childhood was. Comment down below if you're the same way. I feel like I start to remember more of when my parents got divorced, and that was in 3rd grade. They got divorced. So my parents have been separated since I was like about, I think 8. Well, how old are you when you're in 3rd grade? Like, I don't even know. I can't remember. But I was in 3rd grade and it was really hard. Like at that time, I remember my dad sat down with me and told me that my mom and him, my dad basically sat down with me and he told me that him and my mom were going to be living separately. Like that's how he explained it to me when I was younger. I didn't know anything about it. I just thought like, okay, like we're going to be living in separate houses. Like cool, like I'm gonna have 2 houses. But it honestly like was a struggle. Like not a struggle, I would say, but I think going back and forth, if you're younger and your parents are divorced and your parents share like 50-50 custody or whatever, it's very hard like going from one house to another. So like that was really hard for me growing up. I also have a brother named Anthony, and he's 4.5 years younger than me. So he just turned 20 and he's literally my twin. Like if you guys know my brother, you guys are gonna be like, okay, like all his friends say that we're twins. It's hilarious. But we used to fight so much when we were younger. It's hilarious. My parents got divorced, and then I grew up in Monrovia, California. I moved a lot growing up because obviously I lived separate houses I lived in one house with my mom, one house with my dad, and then my parents would both move constantly. So I never really moved schools. I always went to the same schools in the same city, but I did move houses a lot. What the heck is here? Oh, it's probably the hairspray. Oh no. So I'm gonna let that like sit for a little bit. But yeah, so I grew up in Monrovia, California, and then I went to school out here up until high school. So for high school, I went to Bishop Amat, And it was like, it was so different for me because growing up from elementary school till middle school, I had all the same friends. So going to a school where I didn't really know anybody, it was kind of nerve-wracking. And for me, like I didn't know I had anxiety at that time. I just thought like I was kind of antisocial, even though like if I know you, I can talk. Like I'll talk to you, I'll have like conversations with you. But I think like stepping into a new environment made me so nervous. And still to this day, like I get very nervous. Like if we go to an event, like it's really hard for me to talk to people. But if it's like one person coming over, or if I already have met you before, like it's cool, we're good, you know? High school, I was bullied a lot. Like I was bullied a lot, and it actually had to do with like one of the girls that I thought was my friend at that time. And she just so happened to not be my friend. She wasn't the one bullying me, but she was friends with people that were bullying me. And like that just showed a lot. And like I feel like high school really prepared me for what I do now. Like as an influencer, you're gonna get backlash. Like our last video you guys saw, I got a lot of backlash about the fact that what I call Justus, but you guys have no idea where I came from, what my background is. You assume because I'm light or I have pale skin that I'm not black. And to me, that's just very ignorant. And like, if you don't know what Panamanian is, I've told you guys, I'm sorry if I'm getting a little defensive, but honestly, it's very irritating, and it like hits a spot for me because growing up, people would be like, they would say like, why is your mom white? Like, why is she white? Like, why does she look like that? And like, you have dark hair. Or they would see my dad and they would be like, why is your dad black? Like, and my dad is Panamanian, so we're Afro-Latinos, like Latina, I'm Afro-Latina. So it really bothers me because people would tease me in high school, not high school, but more of like in middle school and elementary school when my parents would like, when they would see my parents. And I was almost ashamed of like who I was. I think here in California, they're used to people being Mexican because we're so close to Mexico, and there's a lot of Mexicans here, but more on the East Coast, there's like Dominican, Puerto Rican, there's Panamanian. And I feel like for like people, not my supporters, because my supporters understand the content that we did and everything, and they probably know my background and all of that. But to the people that didn't, like, you need to do your research, because you guys are saying stuff out your ass, and I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. Like, I'm never one to entertain the drama or like the negativity, but I feel like for myself, I'm gonna stand up for myself. And so going back to high school, like I was basically accused of like talking to some guy. I was a freshman and I was accused of talking to some guy, and he had a girlfriend, and it was a complete lie. So people would literally like yell at me in the hallways. They would call me names. They would just be so mean. And it was because I was a freshman and the guy was like a year or two older or whatever. And like, that shit hurts people. Like, it really does. And that's why I am so nice to people, because I know what it's like to be bullied. And there was this website called Formspring. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. If you guys are younger, you may not have heard of it, but people would like message me on. So what Formspring was, it was a website where you could send people messages or just like comments anonymously. So they would send me messages like, you need to go kill yourself. Like, they would call me horse face. They would say all these terrible things to me. And like, I would get spammed of messages. And like, I wanted to leave the school so bad, but like my parents wouldn't let me. They were like, you know what? Like, I didn't really tell them what was really going on, and maybe I should have, but I think it built me to be who I am today and like the confidence that I have now. Because now when people say, oh, you have a long face, I'm like, God made me that way. Like, I don't give a fuck if I have a long face, okay? Like, I don't care. That's how I look, and everybody looks different. You don't look like me. I don't look like you. And yeah, so I feel like that was like a hard time in my like of high school. And like, to be honest, like if you're in high school right now, don't feel like I literally blended concealer forever. Why does it look like crap? It keeps like picking up. I think I put face primer on too much. I mean, like too soon. But if you guys are in high school and you feel like that's like the end of the, like that's it for you, because I know when I was in high school, excuse me, I know when I was in high school, I felt like this is where it's at. Like, this is where I'm gonna be forever. And all the people here and all the people that I go to school with are the people that I'm gonna talk to for the rest of my life. And it's the complete opposite, you guys. Like, literally, I talked to maybe like 3 or 4 people, maybe 5 people from my high school still. And like, it's like, don't ever feel like it's the end of the world. And if you're being bullied, just really try to talk to somebody about it, because for me, I never talked to anybody about it and I kept it inside. And I think dealing with like depression and anxiety, it only made things worse. So I graduated high school in 2013, and I think I was so happy to graduate because I wanted to just be away from everybody. I mean, not everybody, it's just people were so mean to me, and I felt like it was really hard for me to make friends. And I don't know if it was, to be honest, I'm gonna be really honest with you guys, I feel like people didn't, it's not that they didn't like me, I think it was a jealousy thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not gonna sit here and gas myself up, but I felt like it was a jealousy thing, and they thought they can hurt me in a certain way. And if you're watching this and you ever called me names or yelled at me in the hallway or sent me something on Formspring, like, I pray for you and I hope that you have peace in your life, because like, if you have peace in your life, you'll never want to be that way to other people. And like, I know that if you're doing that to other people, you're unhappy with yourself. So I just pray to God that like you guys are okay. I'm gonna set my under eyes with a mix of Makeup Revolution, the banana powder, and then Fair Maybelline Fit Me powder. So I just gotta get rid of the creases, because I have hella creasing, you guys. Like, the creasing is real with my under eyes. I don't know why. It's like coming off under my eyes. Okay, like, I use eye cream, but sometimes I feel like I shouldn't be using eye cream. Does anyone else feel that way? Because I feel that way. Well, while this sits, because it needs to sit or it's all gonna lift off, I was so ready just to get out of high school. And like, I did have really great friends at high school. Like, the small group of friends I had, like, they were amazing. They loved, like, I would love them to death, and they were very supportive of me. But so after high school, I graduated in 2013. So I'm 24. My birthday is May 7th. I'm a Taurus. So shout out to all you Tauruses. Actually, my best friend, she's a Taurus too. She's the one that does my eyelashes. I literally graduated high school with like a 2.6, you guys. Like, school was very hard for me growing up, and I was very creative. Like, I took sewing classes all 4 years. I was always in art classes. My dad had me in art classes on Saturdays morning. Every Saturday morning for years, I was taking art classes. So I knew my passion had to do with something creative. And it's so crazy to see like where I am today. Like, what I do now is literally I can post whatever creative ideas I have, and it's just so amazing. But I'm sorry, you guys. I feel like this is all over the place. Oh my god, this video sucks. I actually want to touch on the subject of anxiety, you guys. So I started noticing I had anxiety when I was, I would say towards the end of high school. Now that I think about it, I had it my whole life. Like, I had always been an anxious person. But I think that towards the end of high school, I actually was like I was doing things to try to cope with what I was feeling. And maybe in a later video I will talk more about that, because I think that that experience needs to be shared and people need to know. But I would say from the time of me being 20 so I got a DUI when I was 20 years old, and it was like 3 months before I was 21. And that was like that was probably the hardest part in my life. Like, not the hardest part in my life, that was the, like, I was in the lowest of the low at that time. Like, I couldn't have been in a worse place, and I feel like that kind of shook everything and kind of reset me. And I was just doing a lot of bad stuff. Like, I was being reckless, and I'm not ready to talk about it yet, but one day I will with you guys. And there's just been like, it was like a long process on, I'm sorry, I'm just like, it was a long process to like overcome. What the? You guys can't see what I see. Oh my gosh. Like, I know my makeup does not be looking like this. Like, I know for a fact. So we posted a video called How Our YouTube Changed Our Relationship. And in that video, I kind of talked a little bit about struggling with anxiety. And what I was doing was basically I was like self-medicating for the anxiety that I have. And it was really, really bad. I was like 115 pounds. Like, I did not take care of myself. I did not take care of my body, my mental health. I would go out every weekend. I'd be partying. Like, it was just really bad. And previously to meeting Justus, I was in also like a really bad relationship. So it was just a lot at one time. But I would say around the time of when I was, how old was I? I was probably like 20. I think it was like towards the middle 20 going on 21 is when I really started like, okay, I need to. And my parents were a big influence on, you know, me getting help, and they knew I needed help. Like, I went to see so many doctors, and like, I just didn't know what was wrong with me. Like, I don't want to cry because I'm doing my makeup, but like, I just like knew deep down inside, like, something's wrong, like not right. Like, I don't feel right, you know? And so like I would see like I would see doctors and stuff, and they would just be like, yeah, you have this, like, you have anxiety. And like, so I thought in my mind, oh, I struggle with this. And like, it ended up being like a lot of things that happened in my life that led me to be anxious. And so I talked to people, and I really got down to like the root of the problem. And if you're struggling with anxiety, I think finding like the root of why you have that anxiety, because I could tell you right now what anxieties I have of. I have anxiety of not having money, even though I budget everything. Justus and I budget every single thing. We're very smart with our money. I have anxiety of not having it. And I think that's from when I was younger. Like, my parents, they didn't have too much money growing up. So, and my mom was always worried. Like, if there was no food in the fridge, she would be worried. And like, so I feel like I had those anxieties. What else do I have anxiety with? I have like anxiety with, well, I had anxiety with like, not really meeting, it was meeting like new people, I would say. But like being in relationships, like I was never really good at, I didn't know how to like love. And like, I think my anxiousness took over how to love someone. I don't even know if I'm making any sense, but I hope I am making some sense to you guys. But yeah, like I had also met with a therapist, and she had suggested me taking medication. So like the therapist had suggested that I take medication, but that wasn't something that I really wanted to do. I tried Zoloft. I don't know if you guys have ever, like, if you're struggling with anxiety and you tried it. It made me a zombie. And I had talked about that in that last video of how YouTube changed our relationship. It made me like a zombie. Like, I would wake up in the morning and I would just be like so just like out of it. And like, I didn't like that at all because I'm a very like hyper person. So I had talked to a therapist, and she's actually like really local to where I live now. And she basically like, she would just talk to me about growing up and how it was with my family, and like my relationship with my parents. And you know, me and my dad, we've had our like hard like times growing up. Like, even like, you know, it's like, it's hard. Like, I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's just like, you know, you have parents that love you, and like sometimes maybe you don't think that you're good enough for them. So like, I always had that fear because like I would do bad in school and like my parents would be mad or my dad would be mad. And so there's like a bunch of things that I had anxiety with that were streaming from my childhood. Okay, so I need to like take a break. Hold on. So going back to like in high school and everything, and when I was in high school, there was these 3 girls. They did not go to my school, and they're all sisters, and they hated me. Like, when I tell you they hated me, they hated me. And it's funny because like they didn't even know me. They didn't know me whatsoever. Oh, right now I'm using the butter bronzer by Physician Formula and the Japanese brush. And they hated me. Like, they would talk shit to me on Twitter. They would be like just being like very evil people to me. Like, just I don't even understand why they were that way. My first job, I was working at Windsor's. I was 18 years old, and I basically, like, my mom dropped me off at work because I wasn't driving at that time. So she dropped me off. If you guys are familiar with the Arcadia Mall, upstairs where H&M is, there's like an entrance area. So she dropped me off there, and she dropped me off, and I started walking to work, and it was around like Halloween time. So I was in like I think it was in like a Halloween costume. Maybe I wasn't. Can't remember. But so the 3 girls and a cousin, they were all like walking toward like to leave the mall, and I'm coming in, and they saw me, and like she started talking to me to my face, and was like, one of the girls was like, you stupid this, like this and that. And I'm like, can you let me get to work? Like, I'm at my job. Can you get out of my way? Let me get to work. And I was being respectful. Like, I'm not a disrespectful person. And honestly, like, when people are mean to me, I'm kind of just like, whatever. And she was like talking shit, and she had a coffee in her hand, and she threw it on me. So like, my instinct is like, I'm not about to put my hands on another woman. That's not who I am. I will if I have to defend myself, but I'm not gonna, like, cause she threw a coffee on me, I'm not gonna beat her ass. You know what I'm talking about? So I turned around because my mom had just dropped me off. I turned around to go back to the car. And when I turned around, she like pulled me by my hair. Her sister picked up my phone. She smashed it on the floor, and they all jumped me. And like, that was like, I didn't realize, because I didn't realize that was something that was very traumatic for me. And I still to this day don't believe that like it like affects me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm probably saying like a lot, but they basically, like, what happened was they like jumped me, and then they all ran, and like my phone was broken. I couldn't call my mom. Like, a lady like asked me if I needed help. I called her on her phone, and my mom like came, and she's like, what's going on? Like, where are you? A lady called the ambulance. The police came and everything, and they like took the police report, and they were asking me at the hospital, like, what happened? Like do you remember what happened? And I basically blacked out. Like, I had no idea what had happened, and the police officers had watched the video footage because there was cameras in the mall. So there was cameras in the mall, and they told me that basically oh, let me say this. The last thing I remember was I was like on the floor, like in like a cradle position with like my face down, and come on now, like, there was 4 people. Like, I'm not about to beat 4, like, I can't beat up 4 girls, right? So like, I just remember like my hands, I had like acrylic nails at that time, and like she had ripped jeans, and I was like ripping through her jeans, like I was like, get off me, like leave me alone, like what did I ever do to you, you know? And she and like they all took off running, and so like the police had kept asking me like what happened, and I couldn't remember. Like I basically blacked out because of how bad it was. I didn't know what the heck had happened. And basically they said that I'm gonna start on my nose contour. So usually I'm not wearing any eyeshadow because of my eyelash extensions. So lately I just like contour my nose and then I bring it up and then like brush in that area. But I didn't know what had happened really. And I just remember the beginning, she threw her coffee on me and then I turned around to avoid it. And then after that, it was like 5 seconds and it was over. Out there, I didn't say any names, but I'm sorry that I'm saying this, but I just want you guys to know like the shit that I've been through, because I know there's a lot of you that have been through a lot of other things or maybe even worse things. And I want you guys to see like where I come from and the type of things that I went through, you know? My therapist that I was seeing at the time said that was very like traumatic for me, but I didn't think that. I didn't think it was traumatic for me. Like, I'm like, yeah, I got jumped, like I get that, but I didn't feel like bothered by it. So I'm gonna go in with the Frankie Rose palette. It's a highlight and contour palette just to clean up my nose contour. There's things that are in your conscious mind, and then there's information that's in your conscious mind, and there's information that's in your subconscious mind. And I didn't realize that something like that happened to me made me be a different person. So after that happened when I was 18 years old is when like I started having a lot of anxiety. I was partying a lot. I was doing like reckless things I will like I said, I will talk about it in a later, maybe another video, but I was just doing really bad things to cope with the way I was feeling. But it was all in my subconscious, because my conscious mind was thinking like, I'm fine, like that, like it happened to me, yeah, but like, okay. And now that I think about it, it's like things really do affect people, and made me have a hard life from the age of like 18 to then 21, 22. Like I was a complete mess. If I was doing what I'm doing now back then, it would not be good at all. So I feel like everything happened at the right time, and it's just like, it's just crazy because like people will really judge you and they don't know you. And I'm taking forever to do my freaking makeup. We're gonna use KKW Beauty Highlight. Like I would quit every single job I ever worked, you guys, because I could not like I couldn't handle it. For so long, I was so sad. I realized that I was sad at that time now, but before I was doing all kinds of crazy things to cope with it. And like I didn't know what to do. Like I was out of control. And like one person in my life that like, I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna get my makeup. One person that like really helped me was my grandma. Like she really helped me, like, because she saw like the pain I had. She saw everything. Like my parents helped me too, but I felt like there was only so much they could do, you know? Like there's only so much you can do when your child is like struggling with certain things. I want you guys to really just know like who I am and like where I came from, and you guys see me being goofy all the time and like so happy all the time, but I wasn't always that way. And so if anybody's going through anything that's like traumatic, you really need to speak to somebody. Don't think a therapist is a shrink, because if you can't talk to your mom or you don't want to talk to your mom, for me, I feel like I'd rather talk to a stranger than like, you know, do you get what I'm saying? Like, because they're gonna really just understand. So I highly suggest, like, if you're struggling with any type of anxiety, depression, anything like that, like to talk to somebody, because I promise you, like, it's not the end. I thought like I was gonna die before 25, and like I'm gonna be 25 in 2 months. And like the way the things I was doing to myself, like, mess it up. The things that I was doing to myself, like, if I continued it, I would have been dead. Like, I would have not be here doing what I'm doing. And like, I think it's just, for me, it's like I get so emotional because it's like so beautiful to see, like, if I wasn't here, like the life that I would have missed out on. Like, I wouldn't be engaged to Justus. We wouldn't have Arlo. I wouldn't have this beautiful home. I would have never met my little brother Rory. Like, my parents would be like devastated, and it's just so crazy. Like, I'm really just trying to preach to you guys, like, if you're going through something, like, please talk to someone. Like anyone, like you can talk to me, like, I promise. Like, I'll respond to you. Like, I get messages sometimes from people, like, that they're at their lowest time, and like, I know what that's like, and like, I'll respond, because like, you never know, like, one message or one like comment or one little thing can literally like make somebody sorry, I'm like, can literally make somebody's day better, or make them feel better, or they're having an anxiety attack, and that switches for them just because of the message that you sent them. And like, I just want like anybody that is struggling with anything like anxiety, depression, I said that already, I'm sure, but just please, like, talk to somebody and really like get help, see what works for you, like tap into your mind, like take classes, read books, do something. Like, even Justus, he teaches me so much about like I never meditated until I met him. We meditate now together, and like, oh my gosh, I look crazy now. Something had happened, I'm not gonna say it, but like, something had happened, right? And my mom had found out, and she called my dad, and I was sleeping. It was like in the morning. I got home really, really late, and I was asleep, and she wakes me up, and she's like, come to the living room. And I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm just like, she's like, what's going on? Like, what is going on with you? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I had no idea why I was feeling the way I was feeling. And like, I had a lot of resentment, I feel like, from like the relationship I had with my dad. I felt like he didn't like really care about me. I lived with him 50-50 part of the time, but I had always felt like work was more important. And now I don't think that. Like, I know he has a family, he has a beautiful family, and like, I'm so happy that he has a wife, Felicia, that like, they're awesome together. She's like a filmmaker, he's a graphic designer, and my beautiful little brother Rory, like, it's so amazing. But I just, at that moment, I sat on that couch, and I was like, I don't know what's wrong. Like, something's wrong with me. Like, I knew something in my mind was wrong. And that day, I had, how old was I? I had Instagram back then. That day, like, I was like, I don't want to speak to anybody. Like, I'm deleting all my social media accounts, deleting everything. I literally had to cut out like my best friend. Like, I just needed to distance myself. And like, my mom booked a flight for me to go see my grandma, and I spent time with her there. That was the first time that I had went. And then the hardest thing for me was, and it is still to this day, is that I had this friend, right? And like, we grew up together as babies. We were 2 months apart. I was born in May, she was born in July. So we had lived together. Like, our parents were living together because, you know, they couldn't afford rent for us to have separate homes. I still feel awful to this day because I never told her like why. like why I stopped being friends with her. And I knew her for 21 years. Like I would see her 4 times a week. We would literally, in the summertime, we would sleep at each other's house all the time. Like we would literally cry because we couldn't be around each other. All the crazy things I was doing with her. And we had such a beautiful friendship, but I feel like as we got older, we just like went our separate ways. The people you surround yourself with will really are really representations of who you are. And I was not a good person. Like I was a good person as in like I treated people right, but I wasn't a good person to myself. Like, I don't like losing people. Like I don't like losing people. Like the people I have in my life, I want them there for good. Like if I don't talk to you or if I'm not having a relationship with you, I don't want to, like I don't care for it. But if I want you in my life, I want you there for good. And she was somebody that I thought I was gonna grow up with. I mean, like grow old with, have kids with. Like we were gonna get pregnant around the same time. Like, and it ended up just being different. And maybe if I stayed in that friendship, I wouldn't be here today. The camera had died, and I think it died at the perfect time because it was just getting way too emotional, and it was way too emotional, like I just said. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it got really deep. I hope I didn't make it as like too sad. I hope I inspired you guys to, you know, really talk to somebody if you're struggling with any anxiety, depression, if you're going through anything in life. Just know that you're not alone. I took off all my makeup because half of it came off anyways, but I'm gonna just go to sleep now, and we will see you guys in our next video. Love you. Bye.